Welcome. And today I'll share with you a reading of a fantastic story that we found on Reddit titled F 2020. Hi, this is Derek. I just put the Drama Llama, Fred, back in his pen so that I can do this quick video for you with some of the stuff that Fred found on Reddit earlier today. If this is your first time watching our videos, help me out by watching to the end, and then giving me some feedback in the comment area below. I do respond to every single one, so don't be shy. And if you want more of these videos daily, don't forget to like and subscribe, with notifications turned on for this channel. Oh boy, let's get ready for a great story.
F 2020 by New to Town Jam. It's not quite the same, is it? No photographic roundups of life-changing trips away and events. No inspirational messages about what a great year it's been. No one's had a good 2020. No one. 2020 has been its own global horror. That, we can all agree on. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here because I've had the worst year of my life. I'm here to be selfish. To talk about my effing self, because it might be the last chance I get. It wasn't just a bad one. And not for the same reasons that yours wasn't so great. I wish the everyday crap show the world has descended into was my main concern. But it just isn't. I've had far stranger things to worry about than most of you. It started in January. And every month it took a little more. Another little piece, chipping away. Until there's nothing left to take. January 1st, 2020. I woke up without a left index finger. It hadn't been cut off, there were no shrewd knife marks and no blood. There was no scar either. It just wasn't there. What do you do when you're missing a digit? I went to the doctors, pleading with them to work out why I was suddenly missing a finger. They didn't believe it had ever been there. Huh. Right? Sold me some bullcrap line about phantom limbs and a referral to a counselor. I begged them to check my records. If I'd been born without it, it would be listed somewhere, but my useless mother never took me to the doctors as a kid. The records were barely there. Non-existent, while the doctor was insistent. I got used to life without a finger. I suppose I had to. Was there really any other choice? It wasn't much of a hindrance really. It took some adapting, but soon I'd learn to write, type and do all kinds of things without the finger. Maybe the doctor was right? Maybe it was never there to begin with. So I took the counseling referral. I imagined a finger for 24 years? Of course I took it. 6-month waiting list. Wow. I counted every lucky star and finger that I wasn't in real psychological distress. What an effed up system. I supposed I would speak to them when they got to me and kept on going with my life. I didn't know at the time that I was already swimming against an ever-increasing current. February 23, 2020. I woke up missing the other index finger. The one on my right hand. It was there the night before, I swear. I remembered the month I'd spent adjusting, how that finger was dominant as I typed and how I'd used it for pleasurable purposes just hours earlier. I wasn't going to be duped this time. Terrified, I called the doctor's surgery so many times my phone almost glitched that morning. I managed to get an appointment, a miracle after all the attempts it had taken just to get to reception. Doc was stumped too. No pun intended. He referred me for blood tests and sent me to a local hospital to be checked over. They didn't find a damn thing. It was only a few weeks before March 13th came. It was a Friday. You don't forget a Friday the 13th, especially not one in 2020. Especially one that rocks your world and changed your life forever. No. You don't forget the day you wake up without a foot. A whole effing foot. My entire left foot was gone. No scar, no cut, no blood. Just a clean nub where my ankle should have been. I screamed. I screamed alone in my house and no one came. I dialed the ambulance, was rushed in for more testing, and they even kept me overnight. I laid in that hospital bed praying for answers. I'm not religious, but if anyone was up there, I was imploring them to help me. Please. Why couldn't someone just help me? The staff at the hospital found nothing. They took so much blood I thought I might shrivel, and they did everything they could to find the source of the problem. I practically lived at the hospital for weeks. Weeks that cost me my job. No. You can't fire someone for being sick or disabled, but you can make them redundant in their first year as the hospitality industry takes a slow dive. So I was sent home with a prosthetics referral, no job and no foot. Only 8 fingers remained. That's when the depression hit. The sad realization that I was being affected by some awful disease or condition I never knew about. Disappearing. Piece by piece. Then the world collapsed. By April 20th, I was locked down in my apartment, something I considered a tiny miracle if only because my landlord couldn't evict me. The loss of my job killed my social life, and the loss of my foot killed my ability to move around a great deal. It had been so much harder to adapt to than the loss of my fingers. I took a nap at around 3 p.m. on April 20th, 2020, and woke up an hour later without my right hand. I sobbed. I panicked. I felt my heart pound and my missing fingers twitch. Maybe this was that phantom limb thing the doctor spoke about. The nub sat perfectly at the wrist, smooth and purposeful. I must have wailed in my bed for a week before I called anyone. I was so tired. So disenfranchised. I was literally falling apart. Piece by piece. And being forgotten at the same rate. I still hadn't had any answers. So I called my mom. I called her. Even after everything she put me through. Everything that she ruined for me. We hadn't spoken in 5 years, and I called my mom crying. I barely got my words out explaining what was wrong and trying to articulate what was happening to me. You were always rotten. And now, you're rotting away. That was all she said before she hung up. Before the line went dead and I heard the last human voice that I would hear all month. I was defeated. I swelled in bed with her words playing over and over in my mind, like a broken recording of the worst sound you could imagine. You were always rotten. And now, you're rotting away. I believed her. I gave up. May 15th, 2020. I woke up missing a breast. Yes. Really. I clutched at my uneven chest, hands sweating as I fumbled with my phone in the other. I still had no job and the little money the government gave me didn't cover it. So I couldn't call my doctor. The only number I could dial was 999. The ambulance came and they checked me over. They gave me a bed for the night, but they couldn't think of anything to do. They took x-rays, more blood tests, and a kindly nurse snuck me £50 to top up my phone so I could call my doctor. The pandemic had changed everything. I was rushed out of the hospital and sent home. Back to my 4 walls. To the same 4 walls. To my cell. June 27, 2020. I woke up 25 years old. 25 years old and missing the pinky finger on my remaining hand. Happy effing birthday to me. I shed a tear. Poured a glass of whiskey and drank it. Cry. Pour. Repeat. I drank myself into oblivion with all the dregs of alcohol that remained in my cupboard. I sat alone and I toasted every missing piece of me. The next few months went by and I lost more. I lost my home. The other foot. One of my remaining fingers and the thumb. Whirlwind right? All in the space of 4 months. I sat in my new hovel waiting to die. Waiting for important pieces to disappear. The parts that made me function. Maybe my mother was right. Maybe. I was rotten. My housing benefit barely covered a grotty studio. I needed a wheelchair by then and this was the only accessible place available. It was damp. Cramped. And my neighbors sold crack in the communal hallway. Confined by my body and my mind, I despaired. My entire, promising, young life had faded away month by month. Halloween 2020 took my ears. Where the opening should have been was thin layers of smooth flesh, and I stared at my broken reflection, raising my stump of a hand to the mirror. Only my middle finger remaining. It was torment. Worse than any of the other losses. I hadn't just lost the outer part. The entire ear canal was gone. I was completely deaf. It drove me to the brink of suicide. I couldn't bear the constant silence. So I took action. I took a knife and I stuck it deep into the fleshy voids where I knew my ears had been. The pain was agonizing, like my head was on fire. But it didn't work. No blood. No scars. They healed effing instantly, and finally, I accepted that I was dealing with something that wasn't medical. Something that wasn't a natural phenomenon at all. My miserable world stayed silent. I laughed at the irony of wishing for magic so hard as a child. This was magic, wasn't it? I can't think of another explanation. Maybe some sort of magic curse. Rotten. November 5th made me realize that whatever was causing this was ramping up. It made me realize that this was a one-year only kind of deal. Both legs were gone. Both of them. It wasn't just taking one piece anymore. It was making sure I wouldn't make it to next year. Christmas came. Lockdown Christmas. I know. Everyone had it bad. I know. It wasn't a merry little Christmas. Santa Claus did not come to town, and all everyone wanted for Christmas was some fresh air. But did everyone wake up missing an arm? Huh. Just me? Thought so. Only one limb left and only one finger too. I'd have struggled to open presents if I'd gotten any. What a present. The last gift from this curse that's plagued me all year. Tomorrow is January 1st, 2021, and I don't expect that I'll wake up missing anything else. In fact, I just don't expect to wake up at all. And that's where we are. New Year's Eve 2020. And it's really chipped away at me. I wish I could say I'm not scared to die. But I am. It's petrifying, and I won't pretend otherwise. The only silver lining, the only bright side to this curse, is that I get to see the back of the year that took everything from me. And it left me one single finger. Just one. The one I'm typing this out with. I'll raise it tonight to say, F you. 2020.
What are your thoughts on New to Town Jam's story? Please share in the comments below. You know, I am at a loss for words. 2020 was a pretty bad year for many, but I don't think any of us had as bad as Op. Can you even imagine going through this crap? What a sucky year it has been for Op. Op, I pray things will turn around in 2021. Don't lose hope. In the meantime, let's hear what some other Reddit members had to say about this story. Titicus reacted with, "That sucks. Maybe it's just a crappy 2020 thing and you'll wake up tomorrow with all your pieces back again." I was going to say, fingers crossed, but... What? Too soon? Let's hope they all come back in the right spot. Born Beach reacted with, "More like 2020. The Affining. Sorry about your year, Up. It sounds like you could use a hand. That I could, my friend. So please hold my beer. Damn. 2020 could have at least bought you dinner and a drink. Before effing you that hard." Yesterday Night reacted with, "How did you even type this? Like, I'm sorry for your loss. But damn. It left me one finger. It took quite some time. But I got it done." Well, there you have it. A very interesting and shocking story from a fine and talented Reddit member. Help support this channel by smashing the like and subscribe buttons. And hit that silly little bell as well to ensure you get the latest videos as they come out. Fred is always finding stuff for me to post regularly. So this is Derek signing off, thanks for watching. Good grief, it sounds like Fred is out of his pen again. He must have found more stories for me to share with you. See you soon.